Hey Rachel, are you there? I just heard that our grandpa had some kind of accident and he fell over. Is everything okay? What's going on with him? Do you have any idea?
Troy, what are you talking about? Yes, Grandpa did have a little health scare and collapsed. But that was about a month ago. Why are you just asking after him now?
Yeah, I'm really sorry about that. But the thing is that my phone just stopped working.
You mean you haven't had a working phone for the past month? Do you not have money to buy a new one or something like that? Please don't tell me that you quit your job again, Troy.
No, nothing like that. I just forgot to pay my phone bill, so it stopped working because they stopped service. But I still have my work phone, so I can text whoever I want, no problem. It just took me a while to figure out how to get it to work the way I wanted it to.
And so that's why no one has been able to reach you by phone for this whole time?
Yeah, pretty much. So anyways, back to Grandpa. Is he doing okay? What was the situation like?
So you mean that you really were worried about Grandpa then?
Of course I was worried. That man practically raised us. Besides, I know you know that him and I have a bit of a history.
Well then, you should have tried harder to reach out to someone and let them know you were concerned. But anyways, Grandpa's out of the hospital now and he's back at home. Although, we are all just a bit worried if something like that ever happens again. I mean, he certainly isn't getting any younger, and as sad as it is, he just isn't as strong as he used to be. I've actually been staying with him on and off because I've been so nervous about leaving him alone.
You mean you went back to actually live with Grandpa for a little while?
Yeah, that's what I just said. After all, you and I are basically all the family that Grandpa has left now. And he's the one family that we have, besides each other.
Well, I'm just glad to hear that he was okay after his fall. I was really worried.
Well, if you're really that worried about him, why not go and pay him a visit at home?
I really don't think that he would want to see me at all. I mean, the whole reason I moved out of the house is because him and I were always fighting. Remember?
I know, but you can't really pretend that you didn't have any role in starting those fights too. I mean, are we really going to pretend like the last fight that you two had wasn't over you scamming someone out of money? Did you know that Grandpa had to pay them back so they wouldn't go after you? If you're really that worried about our Grandpa's health, then I think you really owe it to him to visit him in the hospital.
But then, doesn't this mean that you do think that he'll actually get mad at me if I go back?
I would be surprised if he didn't get mad at you, yes, Troy. But the fact of the matter is that he is really starting to get old, and I think that more than holding on to old grudges, Grandpa just wants to make things right with you. I know you don't want to leave things the way they are with him, right?
No, I really don't want to leave things as they are between him and I.
Actually, that reminds me that you and I have something to talk about later.
What do you mean? What do we need to discuss?
We need to talk about the fact that I really don't think that Grandpa should be living on his own at his age and in his state. But I'm working a job that wants me to be in the office every single day, and are very strict about it. Personally, I wish that I could go home and just help take care of Grandpa instead, but it just wouldn't work. I've suggested to him that he move into a retirement home or something like that, but he says he doesn't feel quite ready to take that step yet.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, his house is pretty big to be living in all by himself now that you mention it. I doubt that he can even manage to keep it all clean by himself, right?
Exactly. That's what has got me so worried. And so that's why I was thinking of going over there to visit with him soon. And I was wondering if you would want to come with me. I really think it would be good if you did.
Are you really sure that he wants to see me? I just don't know how to feel about this at all.
Well, why don't you at least try seeing him? If things go bad, then you don't have to do it again. I mean, the whole reason why you reached out to me in the first place is because you were worried, right? It's up to you, but I really do think it's high time that you settled your problems for Grandpa.
Okay. When I have some time off of work, I'll think about what I want to do.
Okay then. I won't say anything else about it in that case. The rest is all up to you, Troy. I just hope you make the right choice.
A few weeks later. Hey Rachel, you aren't gonna believe it. I made up with Grandpa. Things are totally fine between us now.
Wait, what? You mean that you went to go and speak to him face to face?
Yeah, I did. And I told him how sorry I was for everything up until then. And then he said that he forgave me.
I see. Well, that is really, really good news, Troy. To be honest, I wasn't sure if he would ever go as far as forgiving you. But if that's what Grandpa wanted to do, then it's beyond me to say anything about it.
Well, I just want you to know that I really did just feel about the way that we left things. And when I did go to see Grandpa and I saw how frail and weak he had become, well, I just knew what I had to do then. I realized that I should have done what I did a long time ago. After all, he was the one who took us in and raised us after our parents died.
I know, and now that man is 80 years old. So if you really want to make things right with him, I think there is plenty for you to do.
Exactly. I was thinking the same thing. That's why I decided to move in with Grandpa. I want to make up for all the lost time we had before it's too late.
Wait a second, what? You mean that you're really going to move in with Grandpa? But what about your job? What are you going to do about that?
Well, actually, I'm working a job kind of similar to you, Rachel.
You mean that you're a freelancer? Well, what kind of work do you do then? Because I didn't know that.
Oh, I just do a bunch of business online. You know, normal stuff.
I figured that you do stuff for your job. It's what kind of stuff you do that I want to ask about.
I'm kind of like a temp, basically. People just send me odd jobs to do and I take care of them, and that's that.
And you're telling me that you make enough to eat on odd jobs?
I mean, it also helps that my wife also has her part-time job. Thanks to her, we can live just a bit more comfortable.
Hold on a second. Did you just say your wife? You're married?
Oh, oops. Did I let that slip just now? The truth is that we're not married, but we did go to the civil ceremony, so we are married on paper.
And so then you would be moving into Grandpa's house with your wife in this case?
That was the plan. Yeah.
And did you even talk to Grandpa at all about this when you went to go see him?
Yep. And he said it was fine. He didn't have any problem with me bringing my wife along.
I see. Well, I guess it would make watching him easier if there were more people around the house. But your wife is really okay with the two of you doing this as well? Like, she doesn't mind moving in with her grandpa?
No, not at all. We talked about it and she said it sounded like a great idea. She was actually really proud of me for doing this.
I see. Well, okay. This is kind of a lot of information to take in all at once, if I'm being honest.
No, I understand. I should have said something to you about the wedding. I'm sorry about that.
You really should have. I mean, you're my brother, and I haven't even met the woman that you're married to. I should go over and make myself known to her.
Well, you don't have to worry about it. It's too out of the way for you. Besides, I'm sure you're really busy with work, right?
But this is really, really important. Besides, if she's going to be looking after Grandpa, I think that I really should. Anyways, when were you all thinking of moving?
We were actually going to move around the end of the month.
Oh, great. Well, then I can come over and help you all pack and get ready, and tell your wife how grateful I am for her going along with this. Now, please tell me that you don't have any other huge life news to drop on me right now, okay?
You're right. I'm sorry. I guess it all kind of spilled out when I just wanted to tell you that I was going to be moving there.
That's okay. Anyways, I'll call Grandpa on the phone tomorrow and talk to him a little about this. And please let me know when you have a solid move-in date, okay?
Hey there, Rachel. It's been a while since we last talked. How have you been?
Oh, wow, Neil. I haven't heard from you in forever. How are things going with you?
Things are going all right. But I heard that you're living in New York these days. Is that true?
Yes, it is true.
I see. Well, do you ever go back home to visit your grandpa ever?
Of course I do. I actually was just there maybe last month to see him.
I see.
What do you mean? Why did you ask me that question, actually?
Well, it's just that I was leaving out earlier today walking my dog, and I thought that I saw your dad out there walking on the street. Called out to him, though, and he told me that he lived in the city now.
Wait, hold on. He really said that? But that doesn't make any sense. My brother is supposed to be living with him at his house.
Well, yeah, but it really didn't sound like your dad was joking around or anything like that. Not only that, but his clothes looked real shabby. Honestly, I thought he was a homeless person until I recognized him.
Did he really look that bad?
Yeah, it seemed like he had been out of the house for at least a few days by that point.
But when I called my brother to ask about how things were going, he said that Grandpa was doing great. Are you telling me that my brother actually just threw him out?
Wait, what? Your brother and your grandpa are talking again? I remember the last time you and I chatted, you were telling me about how Troy ran away from the house after scamming someone.
Yes, and all of that really did happen. But recently, Troy went to go visit Grandpa, and I thought he had a change of heart. He told me that seeing Grandpa made him regret all that he'd done and made him want to do better, and I believed him.
Wow, if he really threw his own grandpa out of his house, that's cold. But anyways, I just want you to know that I took your grandpa in and I'm letting him rest at my house. Is that okay?
Did you really do that? Oh, Neil, I don't know what to say. That's so kind of you. I'm really sorry, but I'm going to try and get back to the city as soon as I can. Please let me know if anything happens to my grandpa.
That's okay. It's no problem at all. You just be careful coming back here, okay? I get wanting to come back quickly, but your safety has to come first. I mean, you won't be much good to anyone if you're taken out in a wreck and end up in the hospital or worse.
You're right. I'll try and be careful. And thank you so much for everything, Neil.
Hey there, Rachel. I was just wondering if you heard from Grandpa lately.
Grandpa? I don't think so. Why do you ask?
I see. So I guess that means you haven't really heard about anything going on at the house here?
Anything going on at the house? I'm not sure what you mean by that. What's supposed to be going on?
I'm talking about Grandpa and the house here. Do you really not know anything? I could really use your help with this.
I am sorry, but I really don't know what you're talking about. Besides, aren't you at home with Grandpa? Why do you think I would know any more than someone actually there?
Well, the thing is that I think the house has been sold and we're being kicked out. I was out running errands and I just got back to the house, and when I did, there was a sold sign across the front. Not only that, but all of my stuff and my wife's stuff were strewn all around the yard.
So it was just you and your wife's stuff. None of Grandpa's stuff was thrown out?
Aha! I knew it. I knew that you knew something about what was going on. Did you do this? Did you toss out our stuff like this?
The only person who did anything around here is you. So why don't you start by explaining what you did to Grandpa, huh? Because I heard that you kicked him out of his own home. How could you do that to the only family that we had left?
I didn't do anything. That old man got up and left the house himself.
Oh, please. You really think that I'm going to buy that, Troy? I know that you and your wife kicked him out on the streets.
It really isn't like that at all, Rachel. This is all just part of a plot that Grandpa came up with. I knew that he didn't really forgive me for what I did in the past.
And just what do you think this has to do at all with whether or not he's forgiven you?
Because he was setting me up. He lured my wife and I into moving in with him, and now he's left the house and is trying to leave us with nowhere to live too.
You must really think that I'm an idiot if you think I'm going to believe a word of this. You brought this on yourself.
What do you mean by that? You mean you're really going to take Grandpa's side over mine?
Let's just get something straight here. You have a lot of debt right now, don't you?
Of course not. You really think I would ever do that after my experiences when I was younger?
Of course I do. Because the thing is that you don't learn. In fact, I hired a PI to look into you, and I know for a fact that you're about $30,000 in debt. And I understand that about a third of that was borrowed from less than reputable sources.
Wait, when did you find all of this out?
Oh, just about 2 weeks ago, I'd say. I started looking into you as soon as I made sure Grandpa was okay. But now that I've done my homework, your actions are starting to make a lot more sense now.
Wait, no, Rachel, you really are getting this all wrong. I swear. It's true, I do have debt, but my situation is really, really dire. I don't have any money for myself. And the whole reason why I'm in so much debt now is because I'm trying to start my own business.
So then, where did you and your wife go out to today?
We just went out a little. Surely we're at least allowed to do that, right?
Not if the where the two of you went was a casino. And you've been there since early this morning. In fact, I know that you two have been going there almost every day for a while now. You don't even have a job, do you? You just spend all day throwing your money away at the slot machines. And this whole thing about you moving in with Grandpa was all just so that you could steal his house, wasn't it?
But we had no other choice. We were going to be evicted.
Well then, you shouldn't have taken out all of those loans in the first place. You really haven't changed at all. I can't believe that I ever trusted a word that you were saying. And here I thought you really did want to try and make things up with Grandpa.
Rachel, please. I really am sorry for everything. But Grandpa refused to give me a single cent. I told him about how much trouble I was in financially, and he told me to figure it out on my own.
And just what is wrong with telling you that, huh? Do you have any idea how much Grandpa has already stuck up for you in the past? But he isn't just a walking ATM for you to go when you need money, you know? You always act like this.
Oh, come on. You think I wanted things to end up like this? It's just that I'll have to pay off my loan soon, and people are waiting for me to do so. Scary people.
Well, this is a mess that you have gotten yourself in, and it is no one else's job but yours to fix it. I don't care what else you have going on in your life. You can't expect Grandpa to bail you out like this. In fact, Grandpa and I are going to cut you off and stop talking to you forever.
You aren't serious about that, right? Please. Don't you think it's just a little much? Can't I at least get my portion of Grandpa's will before he does that?
You really think that Grandpa has a place for you in his will anymore?
Of course he does. I'm his grandson. I have a right to something, right?
You really are delusional if you think you're getting anything from him. I mean, is this really how you think the world works, Troy?
I didn't think that I would end up in this much debt. You have no idea how much trouble I'll be in if I don't pay this all back.
If you borrow money from some shady people, then that is your fault and no one else's, Troy. I mean, do you think it's everyone else's around your job to clean up your messes for you? You are not going to get a single cent from Grandpa after what you've done to him. And you aren't going to get an ounce of pity from me.
So then, I'm really not going to get any money at all.
You're impossible. If that's all you're really interested in, then you really do deserve whatever comes your way. Now, neither Grandpa or I ever want to hear from you again. Do you understand me?
Wait, no, please. You can't just leave me like this. You have to help me. You're all that I have left, Rachel. Please, don't leave me like this. I'm begging you. You have no idea what's going to happen to me if I don't pay this.
After that, Troy and his wife picked up their belongings from the yard, packed as much as they could in their car, and drove off to find a new place to live. It was a few months later that the police found them and arrested them for their debt evasion. They were also arrested for their roles in underground businesses that they had taken up to try and pay back their shadier sources of credit. Troy tried to beg Grandpa and I for help, but we knew that he would just repeat this behavior over and over again, and so we both did nothing. I picked Grandpa up from Neil's house the night he told me he found my grandpa. We both moved into a large apartment in the city that fit us both. I was worried that I wouldn't be able to give enough support to my grandpa in his old age, but now that we live together, I feel much more at ease about him. And with the money he got from selling his house, we were able to hire a nursing service for while I was away at work. Now that I have Grandpa with me, I want to make sure that nothing like what Troy did to him ever happens again. I'm going to try and make my grandpa as comfortable as I can in his final years. After all, it's the least I can do to start making up for how my brother treated him. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to see more content like this.
Hello, Matilda. Are you there? I just wanted to say thank you so much for coming to my birthday party yesterday. And thank you so much for helping with the cooking as well. The steaks that you brought were the star of the show.
Hello, Debbie! I'm really happy that you enjoyed them. The pleasure was all mine.
By the way, there was actually something that I wanted to talk to you about that I wasn't able to mention yesterday. I was just wondering if there have been any developments on the kid front?
The kid front? You mean you're curious when your son and I are going to have kids?
Well, I know that this isn't the first time we've talked about this subject, and you know how badly I want to have grandkids so soon as possible.
I know. And I thought that we agreed on the other times that we've talked about this was that it was going to be a decision between Max and I, right?
You really think that excuse is still going to work on me? You and my son have been married for 3 whole years already, and soon it's going to be a 4th. I want my grandchildren, and I want them now, young lady.
Well, we are trying our best, Debbie.
And just what is that supposed to mean? Are you getting some kind of fertility treatment done or something like that? Don't tell me that you went to a doctor and they told you that you couldn't even have kids.
No, it's nothing like that at all, thank you very much.
Well, then you must not be trying very hard since there are still no grandkids that I have. Maybe you should go see a doctor and have them take a look at you. Because at this point, Max's younger brother is going to be giving me grandkids before you do. After all, his wife is still young and it's much more likely to work out. Although I have to say that this whole situation just makes me ashamed of my eldest son.
I really don't think that a baby should be something that is rushed or just done to fulfill a sense of obligation. Wouldn't you prefer that Max and I have a child on our own terms?
At this rate, Max isn't even going to take over his father's company, even though he's the eldest child.
Sorry, what do you mean by that? Was Max even supposed to take over your husband's company? Because he's already not working for the family business anymore. He works for another company right now.
I know that he's working for a different company now, but I'm still going to have him take over the company when his father retires. If I'm being honest with you, Max's little brother John really isn't the brightest when it comes to business stuff. Not to mention that he's even living at home with me since he's been having money problems, but I won't hesitate to give him the job over Max.
Well, I really don't know how else to tell you this, but I don't really think that Max even wants his dad's job, so...
What are you talking about? That can't be right at all. This is his family's legacy, Max's birthright. Of course he wants to take over the family business.
Well, I heard that you and him already talked about this and that he said he didn't want it.
I know, but the last time we talked about this, Max was still too young to really understand. I'm just sure of it that he's come around and would love to run the family business. He just needed a bit more time to mature and see things my way.
I'm really not so sure about that, Debbie.
Well, thankfully, this is something that really doesn't involve you anyways. So how about you just worry about making me my grandchildren? And tell Max that he needs to be a good eldest son for his family. If you don't do this, well, let's just say that there are plenty of pretty young women who would love to be married to a man like my son. So if you don't want him to leave you, I recommend showing some initiative.
Debbie, you can't honestly think that you have the power to make Max and I get a divorce, right?
You really have no idea just where you stand, do you? I am sick and tired of arguing. Just give me babies now. Honestly, you should just quit your job and focus entirely on trying to become a mother for my future grandchildren. You are going to get pregnant by the end of the year or else. And if you can't, then you can go ahead and kiss your marriage to Max goodbye. Hello there, Matilda. I just wanted to let you know that John's wife Rachel is pregnant.
Oh, really? Well, that's great news. I should call and congratulate her.
Not only that, but she already knows that it's going to be a girl.
Oh, I see. Well, that's amazing. I bet she must be so excited to have a beautiful baby daughter on the way.
Are you being serious right now? Don't you realize this means she's going to beat you?
You mean she's going to have a child before I do? I don't really care about that at all.
You mean you really think that this is a good thing? This isn't a good thing at all. Besides, what am I supposed to do with a useless granddaughter, huh? All this proves is that Rachel is a horrible wife and an even worse daughter-in-law.
I'm sorry, but how does having a daughter make her any of those things at all? I really think that you need to get out of this antiquated mindset when it comes to family legacies and inheritance.
You mean that you think it's fine if my husband's company was taken over by a woman?
I think that your husband's company should be taken over by whoever's most qualified for the position, man or woman.
Oh, I see what's going on here. I suppose I should have expected as much from a lowly office grunt like you. You're just incapable of understanding how things work on this high of a level. And more importantly, are you pregnant yet?
Nope, I am still not pregnant, thank you for asking.
You really must think that you're going to be young forever or something like that, huh? Don't you realize that you're already in your 30s? You need to think about having children now before it's too late.
Thank you for your concern, Debbie. I will be sure to put some thought into that.
I really don't think that you will, though. I mean, if you did, then you would already be pregnant by now. I want you to go to a doctor next week. Make an appointment right now.
And just why would I need to go to the doctor's?
Well, because I heard from a friend that she was able to get treatment for her fertility issues by seeing a doctor about them. So I think that you should go and figure out what's wrong with you.
Actually, there was something that I wanted to talk to you about all of this pregnancy business.
Oh, really? Well, what is it?
I just think you should know that I talked to Max about this too. He told me that if you said anything about me being pregnant again, that I should tell this to you. And the truth is that we're already seeking medical help for fertility issues.
I knew it. I knew that you couldn't have children.
Well, not quite. You see, the doctors found that I wasn't the one with the issue. It was actually Max.
Wait a second. You're telling me that Max is the one with trouble getting you pregnant?
It appears that way. Now, I don't really know the medical explanation for all of it. For that, you would have to call Max and talk to him yourself. I'm sure that he'd be able to explain things to you better than I could.
This can't be, right? I don't believe it. You're telling me that there's something wrong with my son's... the swimmers?
Again, I really am not the right person to be asking these questions to.
No, I don't believe it. You're lying to me. You have to be. I know that my son is the poster child of good health. He's hardly ever been sick, even when he was little.
Well, I am not lying to you. I'm just telling you what he has passed along to me.
I don't believe it. I have to go and talk to Max right now.
Yeah, I think that would be better than this. But anyways, that's why I didn't think you were going to be able to split us up for not having any kids together. And I'll never leave my husband just because of his condition. I promise you that.
That isn't why I want to go and talk to him. I want to talk to him because if I find out that you're lying to me, then I really will make him leave you. If it's really you who can't have kids, then I'm going to make you pay for lying to me like that. Hey there, Matilda. Is now a good time to message you?
Oh, hey, Rachel. It's been a long time, no? Also, I heard that you were pregnant. So let me just say congratulations on that. If there's anything you need help with or anything I can do for you, just let me know.
Well, thank you so much for those kind words, Matilda. Although, you wouldn't guess this was a good thing from the reactions we've gotten over here.
Oh, you mean over there as in Debbie's house? I understand she's kind of upset about it being a girl.
That's right. And to think that someone could really even care about that in this day and age. I'm being treated as if I chose the sex of the baby on purpose just to disappoint Debbie or something.
I've been thinking about that a lot recently. Are you sure that it's a good idea for you to both live in that house? I mean, it just seems like Debbie and them are being really mean to you and putting you through a lot.
It's true, though. I was worried when I first moved in here, but now I just regret doing it at all. But that's why John and I are coming up with a plan in secret to get out of this situation.
But won't that be really difficult for you while you're pregnant? Although even I've been thinking that it would be good to look for ways to put distance between Debbie and myself. And I know that if I had a kid on the way, I would want them to be in as safe an environment as possible.
Thank you so much for understanding, Matilda, but, this isn't even what I wanted to talk to you about in the first place.
Oh, right. Well, I guess we should just get into it then.
Well, I heard that you were going to be visiting next week, but whatever you do, don't come, okay?
Wait, what? I wasn't expecting this. Where is this all coming from?
Well, it's just people are acting really strangely around here, so whatever you do, don't come.
I don't understand what you mean by that. I mean, isn't it just going to be our husband's family there? What do you mean they're acting weird? Weird how?
I mean, they've just not been acting like themselves, and what's worse, I think they're going to try and make you have a kid with some stranger.
What do you mean, some stranger? What does that even mean? I'm sorry, but I'm really not understanding what you're trying to tell me. But whatever it is, it really doesn't sound good at all.
I mean that you were going to be coming to stay with us next week, isn't that right?
Yeah, that is right. I was going to go over and maybe spend a couple nights.
Well, the thing is that I heard Debbie talking about setting up separate rooms for you and Max. And I think they're going to use that to bring in this strange guy.
But what in the world is going on over there? Don't they realize it's a crime?
I know, it's just terrible, but I really do think that they're up to something around here. The other night, I got up to use the bathroom and I heard John's parents talking to each other late at night. I almost thought I was dreaming because what they were saying was so crazy. But it was real, and that's really what they were talking about.
Now that you say that, Debbie was uncharacteristically nice to me when she invited us over the other day.
Well, I also heard from Debbie that you told her Max was having some fertility issues. Is that right?
Yeah, it is true, unfortunately. But we're still not giving up on having kids. And there's no way that not having kids would ever drive us apart anyways.
Of course not. You two married each other because you love each other. I feel the same way about John.
But then, what is Debbie's problem? Why is she acting like this? I don't get it. Doesn't she understand how ridiculous she's being? Although now I have to wonder about what she might have in store for me if even I say that I'm not going next week.
I know what you mean. At this point, it might be best to just cut her out of our lives entirely.
I know, but don't you worry that that would mean you would be the target of Debbie's ire? I mean, if Max and I tried to run away, then there's no way that she would ever let you and John go. Especially since you're pregnant. That just adds a whole new layer to worry about.
I know, but don't you get that you're in danger right now, Matilda?
It's okay. It might be a long shot, but I think I have a good idea of how we can all get out of this okay.
You have an idea of what to do about Debbie? But what is it?
Well, in order for this to work, I'll have to go to Debbie's house next week. But after that, she should stay out of our lives. Forever.
Hello there, Matilda. I really hope that you're not thinking of going to the police about this. I just hope you know that this won't go well for you if you do. And just think about what's going to happen to us. You'll completely ruin our family business.
And just why in the world do you think I should care about that?
Because you married into our family. You have duties to us.
And is that why you sicked some strange man on me while I was alone in my room? Thankfully, your sons and Rachel were there to stop anything terrible from happening. If I'd been all by myself, then who knows what would have happened. But I suppose that's how you pictured it when you planned this. I don't care if you are my mother-in-law. I don't have to take being treated like this.
But surely you see that I was doing all this for you, right? I mean, I was just so worried about you not having any children yet. And since I found out that you weren't the one with the fertility issues, I just figured that this would work.
What would work? That I would just carry some complete stranger's child to term with no questions asked?
Well, I just assumed that you would be asleep and that man could sneak into your room while you were asleep.
Yeah, I'm sure that you would have preferred it if I never noticed what was going on.
But I just thought that if you got pregnant, that it would bring you and Max closer together. I was only doing this for you and Max. Can't you see that?
And just how in the world was me having another man's baby supposed to bring Max and I closer together? This wasn't for either of us. This is all for you. You're the one who is most hung up on this baby issue. And when you found out that it was actually your son with the fertility issues, you just couldn't stand that, could you?
But you don't understand. We don't have someone to take on the family's mantle after Max and John.
Well, now you have no one to take on the mantle since neither John nor Max want anything to do with the family business at all anymore. And even if we did have a son, there's no way that we would let you decide what his life would be. Our child's future would be up to us as parents and our child themselves.
But that can't be. Our company has always had a male president. Max is going to take over, and then your future son was going to take over after Max.
Well, Max said that he doesn't want to work for a company that would do something like this just to find an heir. Not only that, but he knows all about how the company has been going into the red so that you and your husband could line your pockets. What's the point of working for a company that exploits their workers like you do?
Please, you can't do this to us. You're going to destroy all that our ancestors have worked for. At least hand over your child to me when he's born so that I can raise him.
Did you seriously just ask me that? You really think that I would ever do something like that? You really need to get a grip, lady! Because what you just attempted was a crime. You do realize that, don't you?
I know. It was bad, I know, but I promise that I'll never, ever say other things about having kids as long as you don't go to the cops about this.
I think I'll have to give that a thought after Rachel and John move out.
No! You have to promise me that you won't ever go to the police right now. If the cops get involved, then that means our family's name is going to be dragged through the mud. I need you to promise me right now, or else I'll never be able to sleep.
Well, if you're worried about protecting your reputation, then you should have never done this in the first place. Not only that, but Max and I are also going to cut you out of our lives. We don't want anything to do with you anymore.
What do you mean? You can't do that. I'm Max's mother. I'm your mother-in-law. You can't just cut us out so easily.
Oh, well, you don't need to worry about that, because it's already happened. In fact, Max has told the rest of your family about this.
Wait, what? What is that supposed to mean?
I mean that Max let everyone know what you were plotting to do, and asked them all to think very hard about associating with you in the future.
But then, that means that all our relatives already know about this.
That's right. We've told them everything that you were planning, and now they know what you tried to put me through.
You have to stop this, please! Tell them you were lying to me. Don't you realize the rumors that are going to be caused from this?
Rumors? Don't you mean the truth? Because that's all that I told them. I never said anything that wasn't true.
Please, you have to make this stop. I'm so sorry for everything. I'm sorry, okay? Just please, don't go to the police and tell my relatives that you were lying.
I'm not going to do that. You'll just have to learn how to live with the consequences of what you've done. I don't have anything to do with you anymore. And if you try to do anything to get back at me for this, I will not hesitate to drag you to court for this. After that, John and Rachel were able to safely move out of Debbie's house. They cut off John's parents and never, ever heard from them again. As for me, I still haven't filed a police report about this. But I did make Debbie and her husband swear to leave Rachel and John alone. I even got it in writing. I told them that if they ever broke their promises that I would drag them to court and sue them for their sick baby-making scheme. Then I told them to stay away from Max and I as well. It isn't that I didn't want to go to the police about this, but I understood that I had leverage and wanted to do whatever I could to make sure that Rachel and her baby were safe. A few months later, Max's family business finally went bankrupt under his father's management. There was even an article about how the company lacked any heir in the family willing to step up and try to fix the business's troubles. Last I heard, Max's parents had to sell their house and downsize their lives greatly. I heard later on, through the grapevine, that the two of them were not doing great. Even after downsizing their life and moving into their tiny apartment, their savings were not enough to take care of them for the rest of their lives. I heard that both of them are working again, although because their company's reputation was tarnished, there wasn't a single serious job that would hire them. As a result, I've heard that they are both working multiple part-time jobs, barely making enough to cover their expenses. Finally, Max and I found out that I was pregnant. Of course, with Max's baby. I'm already several months pregnant, and we're excited to welcome our baby into a world where they won't be controlled by their cruel grandparents. We even told Rachel and John about this, and they were so excited to meet their new niece or nephew. Although I was also skeptical about Max's parents, I am so happy that my marriage to him has brought me closer to his brother and Rachel. It just goes to show you that family is more than a complex system of blood ties. It is about finding the people who make you feel safe and loved and never letting them go. Although there's no guarantee that something crazy won't ever happen in life again, I doubt it would ever be as ludicrous as what Max's parents tried to do to me. And as long as I can protect my family from anything like that happening to them, then I will have felt like I have succeeded as a wife and mother. Thank you for watching. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to see more content like this.